Jonathan Sacerdoti said the couple's attempts to be relatable were being hampered by their decision to relocate to California and live the life of celebrities, in contrast to the role played by more traditional members of the royal family. Mr. Sacerdoti, a regular commentator on Sky News as well as a contributor to The Spectator, was speaking prior to Meghan and Harry's appearance at Saturday's Global Citizen Live event in Central Park in New York, which will emphasize the importance of equal access to COVID-19 vaccines, as well as urging people to take the opportunity to get jabbed. Earlier this month, they graced the cover of Time with a picture which cynics suggested had been heavily airbrushed. Mr. Sacerdoti told Express.co.uk, "I think it's fair looking at the Time magazine cover to say that they're focusing on their image, because that image in particular has been so manipulated and massaged into looking a certain way that nothing in it can be considered accidental." Mr. Sacerdoti said, "I see both of them very serious-faced. Both of them looking you straight in the eye, Meghan, in the front and center and Harry behind her. Meghan dressed in white, to show, presumably some sort of purity or saintliness almost, and Harry behind her, but with his arm resting on her shoulders supportively." The carefully planned image gave an impression of the pair of them facing the future together, but with Harry slightly behind in a supporting role, Mr. Sacerdoti suggested. He added, "It certainly seems that Meghan in that magazine cover is the star of the show, and then the images inside the magazine as well as the two in matching green clothes walking through what appears to be the garden or a garden. It looks a bit like a mail-order clothing catalog shoot. I don't suppose that was exactly what they were going for, but it was styled to the nth degree. The clothing carefully chosen and color matched, the hair carefully coiffed, the image carefully airbrushed once it had been taken. I think it showed, if I may, a degree of vanity, because not only was it putting themselves forward as this influential couple, but it was doing so in a way that was so clearly very deeply concerned with exactly how they looked." One of the main criticisms which people leveled against Meghan and Harry since their departure from the UK and the working royal family related to their apparent preoccupation with their image, Mr. Sacerdoti claimed. He explained that they've expended what looks like a lot of energy on how they look, and their appearance, and this is almost a literal example of that. It's all about how they are seen, their image, how they look visually. And that's, I think, backing up that negative perception that so many people have about their activities. It doesn't seem likely to me that this was a surprise to them that they look that way in the image. I'm sure they must have known what was coming, and maybe they would be very pleased with it. But I think that maybe they will regret having gone for such a carefully manicured image, because it's received quite a backlash from some people. One of the challenges faced by the Sussexes was to convince the wider public of the authenticity, pointed out Mr. Sacerdoti. He said, "I think authenticity today is a very important characteristic that people look for in thought leaders, or trendsetters. They want to feel you're authentic. It's very hard to demonstrate a level of authenticity, especially one that people can relate to, when you are extremely wealthy. When you're extremely wealthy through what is effectively inherited wealth from the monarchy, it's probably even harder. That's not a relatable thing." The traditional royals worked very hard to be relatable while accepting the challenges they faced, realizing the position of inherited privilege came with great responsibility. He added, "And they behave in such a way that I think they try to relate to everybody else, and be authentic and relatable." Meghan and Harry were trying to do the same, but because they had in effect opted out of the royal family and embraced what Mr. Sacerdoti called a US celebrity lifestyle, it was a much harder job. He stressed, "That's why did they come in for so much criticism for how they're doing it. If they're going to carve their own way ahead outside the royal family, which they've now done, I think they ought to perhaps reflect a bit more humility rather than have this sort of downward-looking preaching attitude towards the wider public."